Hello everyone, my name is Nick Infernus, and welcome back to another Transformers Legacy Reveals video. So this is for Wave 4 of Legacy United, or as I like to go with, Wave 11 of Legacy overall. So throughout the week, uh, the designers from Hasbro's Transformers team were releasing pictures, were basically revealing each of these figures in groups, but I wanted to wait until the pre-orders went up to do this video, and they went up today. So let's talk about this wave. This is a very interesting wave because it's insane to me how we went from a wave with all new molds and then one reuse, that being the first wave where the only not unique figure was the Laser Prime repack, to a figure where the only new mold is of Optimus Prime, and then everyone else is either a repack, a redeco, or a retool. It's very interesting where Legacy United has gone, but honestly, a lot of this is stuff that I am really looking forward to. Some of it I'm not getting, a couple things I'm not getting, and then there's like one or so things that I'm only going to get out of completionist reasons. But overall, I'd say it looks to be a pretty solid wave. So it's been a while since we've done this. Let's talk about core class, starting with Energon Galvatron. So this wave has two Galvatrons in it, which I think is pretty funny. And this is pretty much how I was expecting this Galvatron to look. And honestly, not that bad. Purple and yellow do look pretty neat together. Now, of course, this does still have the whole, Megatron, the whole Energon Megatron backpack with, the shoulders that are pretty limited. Honestly, the rest of the posing is pretty great, so I'm okay with limited shoulders because you can still do something with it at least. Alt mode still looks nice, and I'm sure it's still going to transform about the same, and I do like Energon Megatron's transformation, so I am definitely looking forward to this one. Usually, what I've been doing with Legacy United is I would pre-order a core, a Voyager, and a leader, and this was my core. Mainly because with Geokron here, yes, that really is what his name is, while I do like Boulder Crash as a figure, I don't like him as much as Energon Megatron. And Geokron, it's an interesting color scheme at least. He honestly, this looks like if a peanut butter and jelly sandwich became a transformer. You got the brown and the purple. I know it's meant to look like Dark Energon, but it really is giving me those kind of vibes. I will say I'm not sure. I'm not really liking this as much as Boulder Crash, mainly because of the head. The head is a little wonky looking. But Boulder Crash is a good figure, so that gives me a little bit of hope for this. And that's pretty much it for cores. So, starting with deluxes, we have a figure that actually surprised me, and that's the last of the Legacy Decepticon Target Masters, Quake. So, this is a retool of Skullgrin, which surprised me greatly when I first saw pictures of this because that's an impressive retool, especially when they were able to turn Skullgrin's absolute nothing of a tank mode and turn it into an actual tank. Now, Skullgrin is a figure that has grown on me over time. I still think that the quote-unquote tank mode is complete and utter garbage, but otherwise it's a good-looking figure with really good posing and a pretty decent transformation. This looks like it's doing some different things with the transformation, so we'll see if that's for the better or for the worst. And I'll admit, at first I didn't really see why people were hating on the tank mode. Then we saw these product shots, and while I still don't agree that the tank mode sucks, it's definitely not as good as I initially thought it was. Still not bad though. It still looks like more of a thing than Skullgrin's. I know I harp on Skullgrin's tank mode, but it's just nothing. It's just a piece of crap. It's a brick basically. It's a space brick with cannons on it, and is a complete enigma. But yeah, he also has his two little target masters. I think these are Tip Top and Heater, I think is what their names are. They look to be retools of Needle Nose's target masters, which he had decent ones, but really I haven't really cared for any of the target masters from Legacy. So yeah, these guys are just kind of just accessories that'll most likely stay in their gun modes. But yeah, overall decent looking deluxe. Hopefully it'll be it'll be fun because Skullgrin definitely grew on me, and this looks to be better. Unfortunately, my excitement does not extend to Slipstream, which I might as well clarify this before, you know, before anyone starts asking why I'm not excited for a figure that's a repaint of a figure that I, previously praised, because this is a direct repaint of Windblade with new weapons and a new head. And I've got to be honest, where Skullgrin actually grew on me over time, Windblade actually kind of soured on me. Like, I still love her robot mode. I think that looks great, but her posing's below average, as is her transformation, as is her alt mode. And chances are this is going to have all the same problems while still wearing the mold pretty well, but not as well as Windblade. Depending on how this ends up being in hand, this could be either in the slot directly above or directly below. But either way, it has a great looking robot mode still, but I already know that everything this does is going to be below average at best. Now, moving from that extreme low, or at least moving from a low to a high, we have Deluxe Class Missing Link Optimus. If you don't know what the Missing Link is, basically, I don't know if it's like the whole line, but basically it's where Hasbro is taking their old Transformers toys from the 80s, giving them the Masterpiece budget, and basically updating their articulation such to make them more posable. So they did that with Optimus. They're doing a Bumblebee and a Cliff Jumper, so that's coming up. And this appears to be that same Optimus, but at a deluxe class price, but at a mainline deluxe class price point. And honestly, it looks pretty excellent. This looks like it could be one of the better figures from the wave. Has his Energon Axe, his Ion Blaster, turns into, honestly, just turns into a perfect little representation of his G1 toy truck mode, and has pinned wheels with rubber tires. So yeah, I'm really excited for this one. Like, yeah, Quake surprised me and Slipstream was underwhelming, but this one, it's just nice to have a figure where you look at it and you just think to yourself, yeah, that's going to be good. I'm hoping that the fists don't parts form because that would suck. But otherwise, this looks very solid. Now, Voyagers and Leaders are both interesting in this case because they each have a figure that I'm really looking forward to and that I pre-ordered, and another figure that I'm not going to buy, which the reason why varies depending on which figure it is. And we'll talk about each case first for both categories. So starting with Voyagers, we have the toy accurate redeco of Metalhawk, which I'm not going to lie, this looks better. I do like the colors here more. However, it's not really enough for me to justify double dipping because, like with Windblade, Metalhawk has soured on me a little bit. Not by much, I say. Windblade went down from A tier to C tier, whereas Metalhawk went from the same tier to like B. So good. I still think he's a good figure. Of course, it's using the bones of Kingdom Cyclonus, one of my favorite figures ever. It's just that, these new colors still aren't doing that alt mode any favors, and when compared to Cyclonus' transformation, I can't say that this one's as good. It is a lot simpler and in some ways a lot more boring. Still, I do think the colors look neat, and if the colors were the thing that turned you off from the original version of him, then you might find this color palette more pleasing. Yeah, I'd say if you don't have the Legacy Evolution Metalhawk, pick this one up because, outside of the transformation in the alt mode, it's still a pretty good figure, all things considered. Now, Motormaster here, on the other hand, I already know is probably going to be the best figure of the wave because this guy is a straight repaint of the awesome animated Optimus that they put out back in January with a new head and, frankly, a kick-ass color scheme. I wouldn't be surprised if I end up liking this thing more than Optimus because, like, his colors look nice, but black and purple go so well together. And the fact that, like, the entire lower section of this figure is purple, and then there's just, like, this black, what is this? Yeah, this black cab looks fantastic. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. It looks great. Not really much else to say about it because, anything that it does is probably going to end up being equal to the Optimus, which I already praised. So, yeah, on to Leader Class. I'm not buying Soundwave. Like, just for the record, I have the Shattered Glass Soundwave. I'm good. I've had my fill of hot take here. Honestly, one of the most overrated figures of the past half a decade. literally the only reason people want this thing is because of the cassette deck mode, and it's not even a good cassette deck mode. Like, I like this thing's robot mode. I'd say it's slightly worse than the Siege Soundwave. It has, mostly better kibble management, with the exception of, the arms that still have the kibble for some reason. But I mean, technically speaking, it is somewhat more accurate than the Siege version, and it does pose a little bit better because instead of having the arms, go down for transformation, they go back, so he does get some backwards butterfly. The cassettes do look nice. It is nice they're finally giving us Buzzsaw, even though it's kind of weird that this is like... I've heard this is toy accurate Buzzsaw. I can't really confirm that. That's definitely toy accurate Rumble there. I can see that. So I can see why this is leader class, because that's like what, 30 for the base figure, and then 5 each for Ravage and Buzzsaw, and then 10 for Rumble. So yeah, I can see that this isn't really a good deal, but it's a good value. However, the transformation is simple to the point of being boring, and is even unsatisfying in some places. How the hell do you ruin Siege Soundwave's leg transformation? And then you end up with an unfinished alt mode which it just looks wrong. If you see it in person, it's knobbly on the sides, and then it's missing huge chunks of it in the back. So yeah, I've got the Shattered Glass version of this. It's good. I like it. But it's not enough for me to double dip and get this one. For once, like, I know, I bought Crosscut, I've bought Chromia. Who else is there? Yeah, I bought Strong Arm. I bought like all those redecos. I'm even still planning on buying Slipstream and Motormaster and the 2 cores, and even the guy we're about to talk about. I'm okay with like double dipping when it comes to molds. In this guy's case, I've gotten my fill. Now, moving on to a leader class figure that I'm actually excited about, let's round off this video with Armada Galvatron. Now, I know that some people aren't really a huge fan of these colors, which I can see why. It's a bit too brightly colored for my taste. But, it is the Legacy Evolution Armada Megatron mold in the Galvatron colors, so I already know that I'm going to love flipping this thing back and forth. But honestly, what's really doing it for me is the tank mode. Just something about about this being a beige tank just works for me. Like, I like the green tank mode. It definitely looks great. It's easily my favorite tank mode in my collection. But like, man, this one's really stomping it out of the water. I guess it's because I'm more used to tanks being beige than green nowadays. But yeah, beige tank, it just works. And the maroon highlights, they work pretty well too. Plus all the purple's hidden, so there is that. So yeah, from this wave, I will say from this wave, I have decided to pre-order both Galvatrons and Motormaster, because those are definitely the figures I'm the most excited for. But anyways, with that, those are my thoughts on the Legacy United Wave 4 reveals. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more fun content. And with all that said, I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Take care, and Godspeed.